Last time, we saw the encounter with the androids on Earth, as well as what Hit was up to out in space. And it seems he's come across a brand new foe. One who might not pose a threat to him, but one who he's suspicious about. Knowing he couldn't win this first encounter, he thinks of what to do next. So, will Hit actually do anything about Granola? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 7 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were one. By the time this has all happened with Hit, a few years have passed since the android saga. Vegeta does eventually return to Earth from the Galactic Patrol. He can't stay there training forever because, well, he is still with Bulma. Trunks was born, and while we're on that topic, Goten was born too. And Vegeta eventually did come back. But his training worked out. It looks like he unlocked a form beyond Super Saiyan. He was surprised to see the strength of these two Saiyans, especially Cabba, while he and Caulifla were continuously trying to surpass each other. It seems the tensions between the two have mellowed out. And now they're just each focused on being stronger than the other. Goku isn't Vegeta's main focus here. It's actually those other two Saiyans. And that doesn't mean Goku's going to lose sight of anything either. He has his own rival, Piccolo. Since he is around Piccolo more here than he is with Vegeta, and Piccolo was the strongest of the group still. And Goku's glad to see that Vegeta ascended Super Saiyan, because he's not the only one to do so. Actually, before he did it, Gohan was able to do so, not only unlocking Super Saiyan, but eventually going beyond, unlocking the power of Super Saiyan 2. And Piccolo is glad to see everybody catching up, mainly because he kinda had an unfair advantage against them, fusing with an entire planet and all. He still does remain ahead. But when Vegeta returns to Earth, he mentions something that he heard from the Galactic Patrol. They're tracking down some known pirate. Vegeta was wondering if they were referring to Hit, but no. Hit actually isn't classified as such. He's just an assassin. This guy actually goes around not only as an assassin, but also steals stuff. Mainly for a group called the Heaters, which have just been recently eliminated. They don't know what happened with it. And it's kinda good for the patrol because that's one less thing to worry about, but at the same time, who killed them? Who was strong enough to do that? And what was the purpose for it? They did think it might be Hit, but he wouldn't really have had a motive to do that. And they wonder if it's one of the other people that they work with. Some guy named Granola that Vegeta has no clue about. Apparently he is powerful though. And he originates from some planet called Cereal, which for some reason stuck with Vegeta. He can't really remember why, but he knows he's heard of the planet before. He's just trying to think of what it could be. Why did that stick out to him? Anyways though, Cabba did want Vegeta to mention this to everyone. Mainly because he's heading towards Earth it looks like. That's also another reason Vegeta came back. He wanted to warn everybody. Well, Goku invites it. If there's another threat coming towards Earth, that actually might be fun to fight against. He wonders what kind of foe they're going to face, if he even is a foe. Cabba, Caulifla, and Jocko arrive on the planet as well, right before they expect this other ship to arrive. After a few days, it seems the time has come. They can finally sense that energy getting closer and closer to the planet. He's definitely suppressed, but even so, they can tell this guy's pretty strong. And as his energy gets closer and closer to the planet, Goku, Vegeta, Cabba, Caulifla, Piccolo, and Gohan all prepare for the encounter. Granola was going to try a sneak attack, but he can immediately tell that they're expecting him here. He sees the group waiting, staring at his ship. Well, that'll make this battle a little bit more interesting at least. Although he did kind of want to make it quick. He simply jumps off the ship, landing in front of them. So it looks like these are all Saiyans here. Although, interestingly enough, one of the people in the group is a Namekian, and one of those Saiyans actually looks to be a kid. Cabba simply steps up and asks why he's here, letting him know they are ready to fight if he does pose a threat. They don't know his motive for being here, but it's probably not a good motive. Granola doesn't even respond. Cabba just simply collapses to the ground. Granola didn't even move at all. They don't know what happened and how it happened so quickly. And barely able to speak, Cabba warns them. Somehow in that moment, he was able to attack Cabba. And it was a precise blow that was able to do enough damage to do this to him. But the question is, how did he move so quickly? Goku pulls Cabba out of the way, giving him a senzu bean, as the rest of the Saiyans transform, ready for a battle. And at first this catches Granola off guard. Saiyans can transform? Well, it doesn't matter to him because he's the strongest in the universe after all. This should take all of them into account as well. Although it doesn't seem like he can suppress his power any longer. So, he charges all of his ki as well, ready for the battle. And Caulifla taunts him, asking him if he's scared. He doesn't realize who he's messing with. And Granola assures them he does know who he's fighting. These Saiyans are the exact reason he came here. And Vegeta questions this. He acts like he's seeking out Saiyans purposefully. And Granola says that's their answer, as he launches into attack with Vegeta, Caulifla, and Piccolo fighting at first. And Piccolo's confused. He should be strong enough to defeat a foe like this, but how is he this powerful? Granola's so much stronger than him. This power, it almost seems unnatural. Cabba gets back up and thanks Goku. He's still not sure how that happened. And Gohan says he couldn't see any movement either. Goku says the same. Like, they've dealt with fast opponents before, but they should have been able to register that. That wasn't just normal fast movement. That was something else. It's almost like what they saw with Hit. But that doesn't make sense. There's no way that he'd have the same abilities. Cabba says from what they know, Granola and Hit both did work for the Heaters. He doesn't know if they work together because they don't have that much data. And he wonders if he somehow learned those abilities from Hit, but that seems kind of far-fetched. And Goku says it doesn't matter. They figured their way around that once, and they could do that again. As the three of them all power up into Super Saiyan 2, joining in on the battle. And now Granola's kind of in trouble. He's facing a 6v1, and despite his strength, some of these fighters are incredibly powerful. They're all actually around the same level. But Granola assures them he will get revenge for what the Saiyans did to his tribe. and then it hits Vegeta. That's why he's here. That's why Planet Cereal sounded so familiar. So, this is some revenge for what the Saiyans did so many years ago. He hates to break it to Granola, but he came all this way for nothing. They're the last surviving Saiyans, and none of them had anything to do with this. But Granola says he doesn't care. They were complicit in it. Planet Cereal was once a larger planet. With the two universes merging, there actually were more Cerealians. But it didn't really matter because the Saiyans eliminated every single Cerealian that they could find, with Granola being the only survivor. And Kappa tries talking with Granola. He's not the only one who's been wronged by the Saiyans. He has been too, and he is a Saiyan. Not all Saiyans are the same. There's two separate tribes of them. But Granola doesn't care. Again, he is complicit in this. Even if he is from a different tribe as Saiyans, why is he teaming up with these others that are from the same tribe that eliminated him? If anything, that makes him Granola's enemy too. But Granola's getting more and more frustrated as the fight goes on. Despite wishing for all this power, nothing's working. He didn't expect to face this many people at once. And even with his advantage in strength and abilities, it still isn't good enough. Besides, he's not that great at time skip yet. He's been trying to use it more and more just to work with it. He feels anger boiling up inside of him. His frustration's growing. He tries to summon as much power as possible, and then feels a strange change. There's a flash in his left eye, as then it appears red too. His power hasn't changed much, but they do notice this mid-battle. And this provides a much greater focus, especially against so many foes like this. It's going to be a lot easier to hit their vital points. First, he goes for Vegeta, the supposed prince, knocking him down with a single blow. Caulifla then rushes in to attack, and the same thing happens. He's able to guard against the other attacks in the nick of time, then striking her with one blow that knocks her down. And with those two out temporarily, this means it's a 4v1. This is much more manageable. He then performs a time skip, with Kappa barely being able to defend, knowing it's about to happen. But he aims for Goku, who only dodges by chance, trying to predict his next movements. He blocks Granola's next attack, with Gohan then attacking from behind. But then it's almost like Granola's in two places at once. He then appears behind Gohan, knocking him away with a blast, but it doesn't even seem like he moved from where he was attacking Goku from. And Goku says he knows Granola's secret. Somehow, he got the same time abilities as Hit. And he commends Goku. Good job for figuring it out. But it's far too late to actually counter it now. And once more, he activates it. And it seems to be an even more powerful time skip than what Hit had, even though Granola doesn't have a great control on it. All the Saiyans are suddenly suspended in air, trapped in a time cage of sorts. He only had enough time to get some of the people in the group. Gohan and Piccolo are the only ones left behind, the two he doesn't think are too much of a threat to him, since one is a kid and one is a normal Namekian. Not to mention, he probably has the least of a gripe with these two. That kid's probably completely unaware of why he's here. And Piccolo's not a Saiyan, so why would he be involved? And this gives Piccolo a realization, as well as a chance to ask something. Why does he have a gripe with these Saiyans after so long? They aren't responsible. And he also realized that since Granola left them behind, he's not some completely merciless killer. He definitely has some sort of motive for being here. He's just misguided. Otherwise, Piccolo wouldn't even have a chance to speak with him right now. And maybe he can get through while Kappa couldn't. But Granola says they already know his reasoning. The Saiyans destroyed his entire tribe. He knows Frieza also ordered them to do so. But they're all the same in his eyes. But Gohan asks why come after them. None of them were involved. Hell, the only ones who were even alive were kids at that time, and they weren't on that planet apparently. But Granola knows what Saiyans are like. It's in their nature to be destructive like this. Besides getting vengeance, he wants to make sure he doesn't have to deal with them again. And Piccolo points out how Granola mentioned Frieza. Does he not realize who these Saiyans are? They rebelled against Frieza. They helped defeat him. They actually worked with Hit to defeat him. And Granola didn't even realize that. These are Hit's allies? Not that that makes it any better, but that explains how Hit knows them. But they worked together to defeat Frieza? Not just that, they went against Frost Army too. Although Frieza was the one responsible for killing him. Piccolo tells Granola he can relate. He saw his whole planet get destroyed by that army. Not only did he see that, but he has the memories of everyone who was on that planet. At least the ones who survived and fused into him. He's witnessed the horrors of Frieza's army from hundreds of perspectives. The Namekians went through something very similar not too long ago. And he tries to reason with Granola. His judgment is clouded. And while Granola does hear Piccolo out for a bit, he says he's thinking perfectly clearly. And he immediately goes back to attacking them. And Piccolo can tell he's definitely conflicted now. His words did have some effect. And Piccolo notes that he left those two out of the time cage for a reason. It wasn't just because of who they are, it's because he underestimated their strength too. And he lets Granola in on a secret. Piccolo is the strongest of the group, and as of the Saiyans, Gohan's actually the strongest Saiyan, despite his age. Gohan and Piccolo fully power up, starting to fight Granola, trying to hold him off a little bit longer, seeing if they can help break the others out of whatever that time cage is. And thankfully this means Granola's losing focus. The other Saiyans are all injured, having been hit in their vital points, but he's loosening his grasp on the time cage, and they're able to break free, falling back to the ground, watching as Gohan and Piccolo are on the offensive. And right before Granola is about to strike the two of them, somebody appears right in front of him, catching both his hands. And Granola jumps back, immediately recognizing who it is. Hit has arrived on the scene. He tells everyone this wasn't his fight to get involved in, but he decided he wanted to do everyone a favor. And also, he recognized Granola might be a threat to him too. But he couldn't face him alone. This at least is a better way to fight him. And Goku's surprised to see Hit here, especially surprised to see that he wants to team up with them. And Hit chuckles a bit, telling Goku to relax. He's not here to team up. He just realized they have a common enemy and saw an opportunity to strike. They're probably wondering how he got these powers too, and Hit spills the beans about everything. And Piccolo can't believe it. He wished for this power? He didn't realize that was possible from the Dragon Balls. And Piccolo realized that also might be a reason why he didn't go after him. Granola underestimated Piccolo and recognized that he wasn't a Saiyan, but also another reason he might have spared him at first? Well, it could be because he knows another Mechian on his planet, explaining how he got the Dragon Balls in the first place. And Piccolo sees his duty here. He almost got through to Granola and stopped him before. He's got to be the one to do it here again. And Granola says it doesn't matter if he tells them everything. His power has grown even more since Hit encountered him. And besides, his time skip is better too. And Hit really begs to differ. He didn't seem to have too great of a control in it. Sure, maybe he could time skip a little bit longer. But does he not realize that Hit grows a lot as he fights too? Pure progress has allowed him to increase his time skip as well. And Granola asks if he can match a fifth of a second. And Hit says, yeah, he actually thinks he can. This catches Granola off guard, but he decides to test it anyways. The two time skip at the same time, fighting in between time skips. And no one can even process the fight. They just see the two of them warping in and out of time, disappearing and reappearing in random spots. Almost like they're phasing in and out of reality. They each skip time to attack the other first, but instead, they're just matching each other's speeds. And now that Hit's even the playing field, he recognizes Granola's weakness. He doesn't know how to use all his powers. He's not practiced enough with it. Hit has more experience. And not only that, Granola has taken some damage from this battle. He was in a 6v1 after all. The two keep warping in and out of time. As Hit then focuses all his power on something that Granola just used, trapping him in a time cage as well, focusing all of his energy on it, not letting Granola go. Granola floats there, lagging in time almost. And Hit tells everyone to attack now. This is the chance to stop him. Vegeta, Caulifla, and Cabba launch him without any thought. Goku and Gohan hesitate, but then Piccolo yells out, telling him to stop. First of all, Goku says he doesn't feel right attacking him like this. It's a dirty tactic, and it's unfair. And Piccolo says that's not the reason he told him to stop. He walks up to Granola, who's still being held there by Hit, and Hit glares at Piccolo, trying to tell him to finish it too. But Piccolo tells him there's no need. He could tell Granola's conflicted, ever since he spoke to him before. Not to mention, he's clearly defeated here. He should recognize that they could kill him at any moment now, and even if he does escape this technique somehow, they could do it again. It's a 7v1, now with someone who could actually control time on their side. And then Cabba surprisingly tries talking with him too. It's like he told Granola before. He knows what the Saiyans did. He wasn't one of them. He wasn't even part of that tribe. Not to mention Goku over there. He was raised here on Earth. He had no knowledge of the Saiyans until a few years ago. And then Gohan, he's a kid. Cabba's actually part of the Galactic Patrol, helping stop people like Frieza. And it's gonna surprise Granola, but Caulifla's part of it too, and Vegeta's an honorary member. And it's just like Piccolo mentioned before. They work to stop Frieza and Frost, trying to right the wrongs from the past. And Hit can attest to it too, being responsible for killing King Cold and helping to kill Frieza. And Goku says he could see it too. He could tell Granola's not a bad guy. It's like Piccolo was saying, he's misguided. He's not a merciless killer, and he shouldn't try to be like that. The desire for revenge clouded his judgment. It's not worth risking his life over this. And Hit can't hold on anymore, letting go of Granola as he falls to the ground. He stands back up, and it looks like he's about to attack too. And Piccolo reminds Granola, he doesn't blame him for hating the Saiyans. He knows how the Saiyans were before, but Granola needs to know, these aren't those Saiyans. Most of them aren't even aware of what happened. The one who would be is actually trying to reform if anything, although Vegeta hates to admit it. Besides, his gripe should be with Frieza and Frost anyways, who are dead now. Granola then drops his guard, powering down, not really knowing what to do. And he asks Cabba, so is the Galactic Patrol here to arrest him? And Cabba says actually no, they were here to help defend against him. They didn't know why he was coming to Earth, but they thought it was for a bad reason. If anything, Cabba thinks that it's great that he eliminated the Heaters, assuming that he was the one responsible for it. With Cabba also learning that he was basically held captive by the Heaters, and did all this to survive. He was in a pretty terrible situation, so even though he was working with the Heaters, it wasn't really by his own will. And besides, he got rid of them, so he kinda did them a favor. Not to mention, it would be pretty hard to lock up Granola anyways, even if he wanted to. But that's not why he's here. Granola doesn't even really know what to say, but he's heard them out. He doesn't apologize either. He simply jumps up, and then flies back away to his ship, stopping midair to look back at them, just contemplating for a bit, as he then flies off. Vegeta and Caulifla are ready to chase him, but Goku and Cabba are able to stop the two. And Gohan commends Piccolo, amazed that Piccolo just talked it out with that guy. And Piccolo's kind of embarrassed, but then chuckles a bit. He thanks Gohan. It's because of him that he could see the good in people like that. Gohan and Goku did give him a chance after all, so why not pay it forward? And Hit kinda just stands there awkwardly, as Goku thanks him for the help. Glad to finally see Hit again, and Hit's actually surprised that they let Granola go in the first place. He could have actually stopped Granola before, but it would have probably led to his own death if he tried. And Goku reminds Hit, he also let Granola go too. Maybe Goku's rubbing off on Hit a bit, and Hit says he doubts it, but smiles, with everyone going their separate ways again. But little did they know, their paths will cross once more. An evil threat is lurking about the Megaverse, one that the Kais know all too well about, and this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave any thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series, or if you just want to help with the channel and see more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.